Hello, hello. Peek out here in Singapore, and it's a little late tonight, but I was able to get one of my friends, Jen Walter, to join me tonight. She is a friend of mine from the American Real Live Tribe, and I got to know her through Roger Brooks. Thank you so much. And I'm actually really excited to introduce her because she does something with her programs where she's able to help people get used to being lost and wants people to find their concept. So very shortly, I'm hoping she'll join me here in a second, and yeah, we can ask her a couple questions. Hey, Jen.
Hello, I'm so glad we finally connected.
I
Sorry.
know. So we've been trying to do this a couple weekends now, and I'm actually glad that we finally got ourselves on live. I know you're having snow and some very rough weather out there at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've had close to 40 inches in the last month, and the snowiest month
Okay, yeah,
is
that's
now.
worse than. I remember that though. I remember being able to go to football games in December where it was so warm out, and then we'd pay for it in March is basically what happened. So I'm not sure if that's the case this year again, or if it changed, or it's always been the case. But yeah, and then you have daylight savings coming back next week, right? Which
Oh, I didn't
with all the
realize
snow, I don't
that.
know.
Oh, great. Thank you for that
The 10th,
reminder.
yeah. I was trying to figure it out because I have to figure out, time zones to make sure I'm on,
Yeah.
on the right page and make sure I'm talking to the right people at the right time. So I was looking at it, I was like, okay, that's next week. So I'm no longer 13 hours ahead of you. I will be 12 hours ahead of you at that point. So you lose an hour. Oh,
I know,
I
and
don't
that's
miss
been
that.
the hard part, and I apologize. It's just crazy time, and of course the weather, and just, oh.
So how are you keeping yourself occupied? I mean, 40 inches is not something small. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you put your foot out there, you'd probably lose your boot or whatever's going on.
Yeah,
So.
it's been the hardest one for the dog. Because she's gonna come say hello. Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hey, hello, puppy. Want to say hello? She's like, no, I just want you to rub me. So the snow's up to her belly, higher in some
Oh.
places. So when she needs to go to the bathroom, she's having a hard time.
Oh.
So we've made a couple
Does she
trails.
make quick work of it at least, or no?
Yeah, for a while she was actually
Okay.
peeing on the deck. No, we're like, no, 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 don't pee on the deck. Go
I'm not
up.
going in there. Yeah, okay.
But I
Poor
get it.
thing.
There's no snow, so it's a lot easier.
Yeah, I understand. So real quick, if you wouldn't mind, just let everybody know whereabouts you are, and have you always been Central Standard Time?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Minnesota. I'm in the
Okay.
Minneapolis area, so it's kind of the
Oh yeah.
capital of the state. The metro area is what we call it, Twin Cities.
Okay.
I have
Yeah, I
pretty
was gonna say
much
Twin Cities.
Twin Cities. Yeah, St. Paul's the capital.
Hmm.
Um, been here, gosh, a long time. I'm trying to think. My daughter's 15, so it's been over 15 years that we've
Wow.
been here. But yeah, lived in Iowa, lived in Pennsylvania for a little bit.
Okay.
Went to school in Montana, and that's where I met my husband. And then
Wow.
we
Okay.
lived in New Orleans for 2 years, and that was an amazing experience.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
And it was
I can only imagine. That's somewhere I want to go at some point to go
it's
visit.
it's absolutely beautiful. It's way before Katrina, so I don't know, it's probably
Right.
changed, but just the culture and the people and the melting pot, it was
Yeah.
just, and the food.
That's what I'm hoping for. Oh yeah,
Mm,
definitely.
the food. It's just, I love seafood, and boy, do they have good seafood.
Uh-huh. They know how to cook it well. So yes, that's definitely on the bucket list.
Oh my God.
So out of curiosity, how did you find Roger? I found you through Roger and American Life Drive. How did you find him?
I'd taken 3 classes through London Reel, and Roger was a
Oh, okay.
student through the
Right, right.
broadcast herself, and so through that, I and other friends got through. And then also Carolyn Williams was doing the American
Yes,
Reel,
ma'am.
and so she's like, "Get your butt in there." I'm like, well, "I don't want to." She's like, "Get your butt in there." I'm like, "Okay, I'll get my butt in there."
But I remember you and Carolyn mostly because, like, just starting off, I wasn't sure what I wanted to say or how I wanted to say it, but y'all was so encouraging and so warm. It was like, all right, I don't have to be worried about what I say in here because people are really nice and friendly, so I can just get it together and just start.
Yeah.
So I really am grateful for you being in there
Oh.
and helping me along.
Well, I think everybody was, because we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know
Yeah.
what we were doing. I think there was one day where I just did nursery rhymes because I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, and I mean, believe it or not, the premise is you're supposed to go live for 60 seconds. And as fast as 60 seconds could be, it's also really long. You could say a lot in 60 seconds if you know if you didn't realize already. So yeah, I totally get it. I think the first 2 seasons were great, and then the third season for me was like, I think I've said all I can say. I don't know what to say.
And I think that's where a lot of people had growth, is in that third cycle, because you said what you said, and now you're actually getting to the heart of who you are.
You need to dig a little deeper. You need to really peel back some layers for people. And it was hard for me.
It was, yeah, and I think I backed off. I think a lot of people Carolyn was, of course, she was every day. But there were some we all just needed to back off and just figure it out, which I think made us stronger.
I like trying, but reevaluating, not so much, which is why I'm excited to have you on here, because Get Lost Navigator, I like that. I really do. And the first time I read it, I thought Flight of the Navigator, but I like this better. So if you wouldn't mind, let me know, how did you come up with this name, and what does it actually mean for you?
It means, all my life I've worked with maps. I used to be an archaeologist, so I made maps for sites. And then I moved into an engineering company, and I'm in the environmental permitting group, and I make maps for permits. So mapping is big and navigating. But for my final speech for the Speak to Inspire at London Real program, I felt I needed to go to London. And I went there, and part of it was getting lost, and the ability, I didn't realize it was a metaphor. How to get around and not to rely on devices. We rely too much on technology instead of listening to ourselves. And little did I know that getting lost was really more a metaphor for my life. Is like, I was lost and I found myself, and you're navigating. So, and it's okay to get lost and relish it and think of it as an adventure. And so it just kind of...
I actually tell my daughter that we get lost a lot. I have no sense of direction. So yeah.
But it's fun, and you get lost and you can ask. So we were in London, and it was so funny because I'd given my speech and I'm asking people where to go. I'm like, I don't know, my phone's not working. I'm like, no, you got here. How do I walk to that street? And they're like, I don't know, my phone's not working. And it really just reiterated that we're, especially for our children, and that's where I think I had been coming from, is that our kids need to be off technology. They need to be lost, unplugged. So there's kind of that metaphor as well, is just let them be who they are and get lost from all the messages on social media. I mean, we're fighting that as a teenager. Your daughter's a little bit younger, but it is so prevalent.
It's everywhere, and whether she does not have a phone, and I'm going to push it as long as I can. We'll see how long that lasts. But right now she doesn't have a phone, but she asks questions. She says, "Well, look it up," and I'm like, "Okay, we'll look it up."
Oh, I know they do, and it's hard. So they kind of just morphed into so many things. But now I'm just living by, you got to navigate. You got to get lost from the stories of who you think you are, and you navigate to your true self.
And I think that's the hardest part. I'm glad you said stories of, how you feel about yourself, because what I think of myself is not what people see. And it's been a really tough time trying to figure out, well, how do they possibly see all this in me? Because I don't see it. So my idea of who I am versus who I actually am, it's been quite the journey. It's been lifelong, but it's been quite the journey.
It is, and I think it'll always be a journey that I'm on, because there's always another story that comes out, and I'm like, oh, darn it,
Yeah.
Still fighting it, and we fall into old patterns. But yeah, and what they're seeing is it's through a lens that we don't have. The other day I told a person, I said, I'm finally breaking free of the prison of stories that has contained me for years.
I like that.
Very
artistically said.
And so I'm like, if you can open that window, it's like the prison of story. It's just paper, and you just got to push through it. Sorry, my dog's like, you're not rubbing me enough.
He's like, stop talking to her. You're not
it's like, you're supposed to be rubbing my ear. What's going on here, Mom? So yeah, it's that, and I think we can do that. And some of those stories, I'm sure people are listening, they're limiting beliefs. There's self-doubt wrapped in negativity and just beating yourself up. And those are the stuff we need to get away from. We need to lose those disempowering stories, because they're not true. They're just a version of what
And
we.
honestly, I've learned a lot by watching my daughter. She's one of those people who will not answer back and she will not argue with you when she's in trouble. She kind of like deer in the headlights and kind of just sitting there. And I can see it. I can see herself beating herself up, and I feel so bad. So I can only imagine like how powerful that reel is that she's playing inside of her head.
Mhm.
And I'm not necessarily like telling her off, like telling her that she's bad or she's done, I'm asking her questions about, okay, well, why did you do this? And she's like, so, yeah, I'm sure I do that a lot based on every decision I make all day long, and it's really hard to get rid of.
It is, and I don't have the solution yet, and I'm still working on it with me and my daughters in the next room. But I think the first step is we're aware.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's it. And I did said something about, can't remember how I phrased it, but yeah, being aware is the first step, because then you can catch it.
Absolutely.
And once you can catch it, then you may go down the rabbit hole a little bit, but you're not going down all the way down the rabbit hole.
But you can stop yourself like, all right, this is a dream. This is not real.
No, I can count to 5, okay, and face the fear, let it hit, and then, sorry, she's really rolling all over.
That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, I like the idea of being lost. I like the idea of seeking to get lost, to kind of find yourself. Yeah. And yes, it's definitely a metaphor. I feel like it happens all day, every day, a lot. And a lot more than most of us would probably be happy to admit. But I think it's really necessary. You're absolutely right. Unplugging from technology, GPS for everything. What happened to good old-fashioned, hey, excuse me, do you have the time? Excuse me, can you help me get to here? I'm so lost. To admit that you're lost and then ask for help is like, it's a major thing nowadays.
It is, and people don't do it, and our kids are so used to doing that, and just to be able to show them, it's okay. You know what? Guess what? We're going to talk to somebody. We're going to... We're going to ask.
Imagine that.
Or even just one of the things that I in that speech was talking about is like the London cabbies are really cool because everything has to be memorized. So it's just how they see the world. And we can do that. We can teach our kids how to navigate and how to not be lost. And I'm losing my point here because there's a big foot in my face. I don't know if you can see this, but...
I see. Wow.
So yeah. Sorry about that. Got distracted.
Yes, that's okay. That's all right. See, we were lost, and we now are found, and we will figure out what this point is going to be. But yeah, you were saying the cabs. Yeah. They memorized everything, right?
Yeah, they do for the City of London, which is really cool. There was actually a study that they showed that their hippocampus region of their brain got bigger because they were putting all that memory in their brain, and so they could able to navigate. Something.
I was just thinking about that. Do you know how many things we write notes on in our phone?
Yeah. That
we don't pay attention. Can you live without your calendar right now? The one that's in your phone?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's funny because I have so many of these now. I'm starting to write journals everywhere. But then I have
one in every room, I think.
So I get the lure of the phone because it's in one spot. But I really am starting to get back to that tactile writing. It just putting it all down. And so now I have one that's just my to-do list in my purse. So, and then I can push it to other journals. So, but yeah, it's, you're right. What happens if you lose your phone? I dropped my phone in snow and it was out for a day and I'm like, I was more upset because I had all of my videos on it. I didn't want to lose that.
Right.
But it was good to not have it I'm unplugged from social. I'm unplugged from, anyone needs me, they can call my daughter or my husband, right? And they'll get a hold of me.
And you know what's really funny? Going into college, I don't think I had a cell phone until halfway through college, maybe, I'm not even sure. But I remember being hell-bent about not getting a cell phone. The whole premise being, I don't want people to find me. If they really want to know where I am, they know where I end up at certain times of the day, they'll find me there. And now I can't live without it. So bang goes that theory.
Well, but they've changed so much. I think when we first had it was the flip phone. So you'd have to push the letters, continued to text.
3 times or 2 times or And it got so good that we could do it under the table without you actually looking.
It took a while. Now that, there's all emojis, you don't have to type it out. And it's changed so much. That's also, what the phones are. But it's the camera. That's the part and to be able to do this. Look at this. We're half the world apart, and we're chatting. which is
Exactly.
so
And we're
amazing.
presenting to the world at the same time all of our, our wonderful ideas. I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
It is. And that's what makes, I think, the world such a wonderful place, is to reach out and with a message. And as this Get Lost Navigator, one of the things I'm really starting to embrace is the quirkiness of who we are and not being
Yes.
afraid to let it fly. There's too much, again, of the messages that we have to be X. Well, I'm not X. I never have been X. So I'm going to be J, Y, P, Q, whatever letter I'm going to be. I'm going to be me.
A little bit of everything. I don't know.
and let it fly. And I don't have to be friends with everybody. Everyone doesn't have to like me. And that's another hard lesson to learn, is that who we truly are, not everyone will get us. But there are
Exactly. And that's one of those high school things that people are supposed to get, but most times they don't. You realize that not everyone has to like you, and that's okay. But what normally happens in high school, we're like, well, she doesn't like me. Why doesn't she like me? That's all that's going to, that's all we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
She doesn't like me. Why? So I'm going to stalk her and harass her and irritate the hell out of her so she doesn't like me some more.
Yeah. I was talking to a woman, and this sweater is perfect for it. So it's got all this embroidery on it. That's exactly what we do. We find that one thread, that one negative thing we don't like about us, and we pick at it, and we pick at it, and we pick at it. If we would just snip it or take a needle and put it back, it's all fine. The whole sweater's fine. It's just the one thread.
It's that one spot.
And it's our mindset. We need to say, it's just one thread out of the whole tapestry of our life. It doesn't put it out of focus, whatever. Just fix it, clip it, change it. But the whole thing, we're beautiful as is our tapestry.
And yeah, it's a lot harder than people think, especially with social media. People are worried about likes and comments. And I can't say nothing, because that's like the easiest way to figure out if you're actually reaching people the way you want to reach people. It used to be that you write because you want to write. It used to be that you painted because you wanted to paint. And then eventually, if people like it, they buy it. But now it's like, okay, well, how do I make money? And how do I make money? And how do I make money? And I like the fact that you are getting back to basics. You're kind of teaching people to be themselves by going out and doing something. It's almost like comfort zone, but a completely different tone. I like Get Lost. I like Get Lost a lot.
Thank you. It is. And whether it makes money or whether it doesn't, it makes me happy, and it makes my life better. It makes my family better. It makes my friends who are embracing themselves and doing it. And that's where I guess it's that step it forward, take it forward, that if we're all doing something that makes us better, our hearts shine, our lights are brighter, and then it just keeps paying it forward. And what amazing world.
And even simpler than that, those new things you try, you get to share them with somebody. You're not talking about, oh yeah, I went to work, and then, oh yeah, I had lunch, and then it's not the same stuff. You have new things to talk about. You have like exciting things to discuss. You can discuss ideas. My God.
That's what is amazing is, well, how did this idea affect you? What do you see? Like, I posted the picture the other day of the dog upside down, and it's an optical illusion, but it's...
I saw, yes.
And so it's just perspective. And if people can see how simple it is to change a thought in their life and how they can take a different path or embrace something or empower themselves, oh, it's amazing. Yes. That's what's so cool. That's what gets you up in the morning, and you just get excited.
And how many people don't realize that, I mean, until you go out and put yourself out of your regular beaten path, that you can do all of these things. It's like challenging all of your fears and doubts. It's challenging what people have told you before, because you're not taking anyone else's information at face value. You're testing it for yourself.
Yeah. No, it's so true. Before, a couple years ago, I felt my life was rut. It was a 2-track rutted road, and all I could do was just kind of bounce forward and get straight. But it was basically London Real. It just smacked me out of that 2-rut track, and I got up and I'm like, wow, I can go wherever I want to go. I'm not limited by what people tell me or what I thought, because I was just walking down that 2-track road. And that's, once people can put their head up and look around, they're like, whoa, I can do this.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not just, looking down at your shoes. We used to be look down at your shoes and not look at the world. Now it's like look down at your phone and not pay attention to the world around you. But yes, absolutely. Yeah. Make eye contact. Smile at people. Ask people on the bus how they're, like, random questions. But they are the greatest conversations ever. By the time I got to that third cycle of American Real, the things I started to talk about, I was nervous to talk about, but it was something that struck me at the time, so I got on real quick and talked about it for 60 seconds. But then the comments that came in, like, wow, I never thought of that. Oh my gosh, I've had that same experience. And wow, maybe I should try that too. But the response gave me the impression that I had been thinking about things so differently. Like I thought I was alone, and I'm really not.
No, the world's a big place and you're not. And that's what's so amazing. And just to take that leap, like you said, talk to strangers. The other one I love is to genuinely comment on a stranger, like something of beauty that you like, a pair of socks, the way a woman's wearing her hair. I've been in a bathroom and I'm like, this woman, we were at a show and she had a beautiful dress on, and I'm like, that is the most beautiful dress I've ever seen, and it looks so pretty. And she was just, wow,
she was probably stunned.
Yeah, she was like, but then her smile, and you could just see, she's like, it was so genuine. And then the conversation we had afterwards, because people are afraid, like you said, they're always looking down, they're afraid.
It kind of is like an icebreaker, yeah.
So to comment on genuine beauty in the world is like another magical thing to do. And
I've realized that the kindness of strangers really does lift people, because I've been in places where I didn't think anyone noticed. I didn't think anyone cared. And suddenly someone out of the blue would be like, you know what? Thank you so much for blah, blah, blah. Or you really look, smart today. Or you look like you're radiant today. And I'm like, dang, okay, I do exist. Okay, all right, I can do this.
And then, like you said, like American Real, the ideas that you have in the moment that click and you go live and you see that I'm not alone. And boy, my ideas have changed someone's day. How they're going to face their own day is so amazing, that we just continue to inspire each other, which is so amazing.
And that was the beauty of that group. We really did inspire each other. I think it started off with just, the group in general, and then eventually we all became friends on Facebook, and we started commenting on posts outside of the group itself and kind of got to know each other a little bit. And it's just beautiful. How people would make friends in real life maybe like 20 years ago is kind of how we did it, but it was digital. I won't lie, but it's been great. It's been amazing.
It has. I mean, we've invited each other into our homes. We've seen, the bed's not made messy. But you got to see, we shared, and that vulnerability that came out. I mean, there's been lives that, like, oh boy, I shouldn't have said that. But at the moment, it was from the heart. Right. And that's what helped us connect with each other and realize we're not alone.
I love it. So you have a program here. I've been looking through your website. So you have a program that says Finding Your True North. Will you tell me a little bit about that? I mean, without giving everything away, obviously.
Well, I'm going to try. I think I have to revamp it a bit. But basically, the idea is to try to find your true self and to remove all the noise that's around you and get to the true, what is the heart? What makes you tick? What puts you in alignment to yourself? And part of that is just unplugging and being who you are, and not afraid to say what you think, believe what you think, and use your voice. That's when I've had a hard time to like speak.
Yeah.
And to say it and be afraid, like, oh my God, what I say, people are going to think I'm crazy. Well, if they think they're crazy, maybe I'm not speaking to the right crowd. And that's where I'm learning to, and sometimes what I speak too fast.
I do too.
But it's to try to help people orientate themselves, especially for children. Being like with your kids. I mean, just, we know how busy it is. My daughter's working on a paper right now, but being able to pull back and give her that quality time and energy, that she's your main focus. Sometimes we think we're doing a really good job, but we're not. So it's trying to...
We need to be able to speak to them to kind of figure that out. Absolutely.
Yeah, everything has to be in alignment for us to be strong. And part of that, I'm going to go back to that trueness, is self-love. We don't love ourselves, truly, unconditionally love who we are. Everything else we do is never going to be, it's like the trunk of a tree. You have to be strong. And so by orientating yourself, aligning yourself, doing all that, you become strong. And then everything else just will automatically, you can navigate, you can flow. Oh, she's jumping up and down. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I got to get the feeling that she's, she's either agreeing with you or not agreeing with you based on what she was saying. So I kind of like that. I dig it. It's cute.
Yeah, she's like, rub my belly. Mama, rub my belly. So.
Apparently you have a rubbing system. So it starts with the head, the ear, you move the belly, and then she's satisfied.
She's like, okay, I'm getting a massage. I kind of like this call thing going on. So.
Oh.
So do you have a pet? I don't remember.
I don't. I did before. When we were growing up, we had a dog donated to us because one of my dad's friends, they could no longer have the dog. It was a Siberian Husky. It was so pretty. And living out in Virginia, we had, where we lived, it was in the middle of Buckingham County. So we had the woods right out back. So when it was snowing, she would go wild. She would watch the foxes and she'd watch the deer and just start howling and, running around and stuff. So she had a great old time. But eventually we moved. When I graduated college, my then boyfriend and I moved in together, and he got me a beagle, and I had that beagle was with me for maybe 5 or 6 years before I had to take it back to his mother's house because I couldn't keep her where I was. But since then, I haven't had a pet. I haven't. My daughter kind of fits that. So she's the closest thing. That's terrible to say. But she follows me around everywhere. I feel pretty good about it. She looks up to me. I look up to her. We have a good old time.
Well, you feed them, you love them, and they love you unconditionally back. So, that is the thing about the dog. Just totally, if you're not feeling it, they just come up and she'll they know.
They come and they sit their face in your lap like, what? You know you need me.
Yeah, I love you, Mama. Let me show you how much.
But it's amazing. I love it. And what you're doing, the way you're spinning this, it's very, very simple stuff. It's been said a million different ways, but I like the way you're approaching it. And it's kind of encouraging people to really, yes, unplug and then go get lost and see how you do and talk to people and, see how you manage, and everything will be just fine. And the amount of things that you can connect when you're unplugged, the amount of things that you see suddenly that you didn't realize were always there,
yeah.
Gosh, that is the true beauty of the world, isn't it?
It is, just to do that. And I'm excited when spring comes where I can go back walking, and have the long walks with the dog and to be out there and just be with nature and just enjoy it. It's so much fun.
I'd forgotten how much I needed to be out in sunshine. We get stuck in offices so long, fluorescent lights and computer screens and clicking this and searching that and all this. We just get lost in it. And by the time I leave the office, the sun has gone down. I don't get to enjoy the sun or anything. So yeah, we need it more than we
do
realize.
Need it. We just need it, and that's part of that alignment and orientating. All that stuff is just navigating back to you and what's true. And sitting at a computer screen for 13 hours a day is not true.
No, it's not. And the ugliness, as beautiful as it is, us sitting on opposite ends of the world, we're talking to each other. That also means that I should be available for my 9-to-5 job 24 hours a day, because whenever someone sends an email, I should be able to receive it, depending on where in the world they happen to be. That's not cool either. It used to be that, you go to work, you come home, and when you're home, and you sit around a family dinner, and you talk to each other, and you really catch up with each other, and then you go to your rooms and you, knit or read or catch up on your homework, whatever. No one does that anymore, and I miss that idea. I do. You play until the streetlight comes on. I miss that idea. Knowing that your neighbors will look out for your kids just as much as you'll look out for their kids. I miss that idea. We need it. I want it back.
Well, and I think it starts right in your neighborhood to do that, and that's a great idea. We used to, when my daughter was little, game night. There's just so much fun that you play that and you do that, and it needs to be I think you're right. We start it. We just start with one family, and then you invite another family, and it just keeps building. And you're right. It's hard in these neighborhoods, especially for us, because there's snow. You're not really seeing your neighbors except when you're...
Right now, yeah. But, do you remember when you had snow days when you were young? People couldn't wait to get out the door at first light because all they wanted to do was do snowball fights and build snowmen and just, sled around and just play.
Oh, yeah. We would be gone for hours. I remember we'd be...
Until you came in, you can't even see anymore because it had been so bright outside. You're like, what the hell?
Or you're so cold and you're like, your snowsuit.
I can't feel my feet anymore, yeah.
I'm done.
Man, I remember those. Yeah. The winter of '96 was terrible for us in Virginia, and it was a lot of fun, though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's, even now, with the snow, I haven't seen a lot of kids sledding. It's like they don't sled. It's...
And maybe they're used to curl up on the couch and do something else.
Get their phone out.
Snow? I see snow. Have you seen snow? Yes, we see snow. Is there tracks outside? No, there's no tracks outside.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
So it's been, so I'm actually, I think but now it's cold. So I want it to be not cold, but snowy so that we can.
That sunny, warm kind of snow?
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. It's probably going to happen in a couple weeks.
Gosh. March, man, in like a lion,
Oh,
out like a lamb, right? Right.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This is the winter that just, I think, may not stop. Because last year we got like a winter snowstorm in April, and it's just like, come on.
Serious?
But
Okay, yeah. So I can't complain. I'm here in the tropics, and just it's either hot or wet, one or the other. Sometimes it's hot and wet. I don't know.
yeah. See, now for us, hot and humidity, we're just like, we melt. We're done. We can have 50
Exactly.
below.
We never had that. Yeah, we used to have that dry heat in Virginia. So summertime, it'd be like super hot. People are like, oh my God, I can't take it. I'm like, this is great. This is fine. You come to Singapore, you take a shower, you step outside, you sweat again. You're like, what the hell did I just take a shower for?
That's kind of like New Orleans, and sometime in the summer, you're just like, why bother? It's just so hot.
You just spray yourself with water all day. That's it. Just
It's
add to
just
the
like,
water.
you're like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And that's
So I
part of the
know
greatest.
you're just you're starting off again in Instagram. I know you have a Facebook page as well, correct? For Get Lost Navigator, or is it
I
just the
do,
website?
yeah. I do, but most of my stuff has actually been on my personal page, and then sometimes I'll push it over there. I've been on
Okay.
a lot of public, because it's just so much easier to go as me.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm finding out that, I kind of wish I had done everything on one page, but it's okay. I mean, I needed a business page for a business account on Instagram, so
Yeah.
you did that. Hey.
Yeah, so it works, and I'll keep moving it forward, and as I keep honing it and tweaking it and getting it ready to whatever it's going to be, then
Yeah.
I'll definitely let you know and put it out there. But
Please do, and we'll get you
yeah,
back on here so you can tell us about the new program or the revamped program, whichever the
yeah,
case may be. But I like the idea a lot, and I'm so glad you're doing this, and I'm so glad you're talking about your own experience, because not everyone does that either. Everyone wants to present themselves as the expert, and that's cool and everything. That's, a gimmick, but what are you an expert of? I'm an expert of my life, and you're an expert of your life, and that's what we're teaching. That's basically what it comes down to. I can tell you everything I've tried.
exactly. And the pitfalls, and that is, I think, where the other one is to laugh at yourself, because I can tell you what I did wrong and why, and just laugh. You'd be like, oh boy, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you have to laugh at yourself, and I think that's you're the expert. I'm the expert, and anyone watching this, they're the expert of their own lives, and just
Exactly.
share those pitfalls and those moments of levity and maybe not pain, and just, I call it fog. Sometimes we get into fog.
Yes,
And just,
there is. There are
yeah,
some
it's
hazy
like,
areas in my life.
like, oh my God, all did I do? But, and yeah, just how do you get through it, and how do you focus, and how do you move
Exactly.
forward? I'm going to put it out there, like, I have lost the weight, but like this last week, I probably
You
had
look
3
great.
cups of M&Ms and a milkshake the size of a foot, but all right, I'm not beating myself up, because you know what? It was well worth it. I had so much fun, and now I start all over again.
Exactly. And God, I'm so glad you said that, because you shouldn't feel badly about not eating or being on this diet, because that also affects your health. How you feel about what you're doing, the balance that you do or don't have in your life, that matters. How you feel about everything matters. So it's not just about the diet. Are you beating yourself up about it the whole time? Are you whining and complaining inside your head about, oh God, I wish I had this, and I just wish, and I can't wait till Friday because then I have a cheat day, or whatever the case may be. Like, how you feel matters, you guys. And that's where I come in. I like the feeling part of it.
Well, it's important. It's with us the whole time. We can't seem to get rid of it. So yeah, it's true. I love how you said that. It's, don't beat yourself up, and it's with you. And yeah, it's beautiful.
And yes, you can start over again. I mean, we have a cheat day. We fall off the wagon a little bit. We just start over again. As long as you know, hey, okay, I will make up for it. I will figure something out.
Yeah. And for me, what I'm like, if once you become, again, aware of it, then I start right there. I don't need the beginning of the morning. I don't need the beginning of a week or month.
Exactly.
So
yes, that was a hard lesson for me. Oh, it's Sunday. We'll just wait till Monday. Oh, next Monday.
So once you decide and you're aware of it, I'm like, okay, we start. And then that's
Pivot
where you
now.
go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then it's not as much of that resistance that you're fighting, because you're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's
I'll
not
have
as
to
heavy as you would think. You don't have to build up to anything. You just start right now.
Because if you do, it's anticipation, and you're giving yourself an out, because you're like building up resistance and procrastination. You're like, no, all right, I do not need
No
to eat 3
excuses.
cups of M&Ms.
We'll pivot now. Yep. I
I'm kind of
love
off
it.
M&Ms right now, so it's really good.
Oh, you outdid yourself then. Is that what it is?
I'm done. done.
For a while. For a while.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah, so true.
Well, Jen, I really do appreciate it. It's always such a pleasure. We always get
Oh,
to laugh every time I talk to you, and I really do appreciate you being so warm and inviting and accepting. And yeah, let me know when you revamp or create a new program because I think this is more of what people need in the world. We need a
oh,
reason to unplug. Unfortunately, it's stupid, but we need a reason to unplug. It's like, well, why should I? Well, because you need to find yourself and you need to be happy without devices and likes
yeah.
and dislikes and whatever. So, yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. Well, thank you. And thanks for doing this and getting
I
that message
appreciate
out
it.
there and sharing
Thanks.
it with the world. Because it just, the more we do this, the more it's going to hit somebody, it's going to resonate, and it's going to change their life.
And that's exactly it. Something you said earlier where you were saying, we speak our truth and, the people that like us, great, and the people that get kind of irritated by it, well, I feel like sometimes they need to get irritated in order for them to think about it later. And then they're like, okay, why was I so upset? It wasn't that bad. And maybe, okay, well, maybe I was believing this in some kind of way and I kind of need to adjust it. So everything
Yeah.
comes out when it's supposed to. You hear what you need to. People
Yeah.
looking at horoscopes, you choose to go along with it or not. You know
Yeah.
exactly. So it's really, it's all about timing.
I think so too. I like that. Yeah. You take what you need and you move on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You are in charge of your life, people. Get out there and be your own hero, please. So
Yes.
if you don't already know, please follow Jen on Get Lost Navigator. You heard it correctly. Get Lost Navigator, if I can speak. And then her website is also getlostnavigator.com. She is active on Instagram. She's more active on Facebook. But if you need anything else, please message her or message me. I'll get you in touch with her as well. But in the meantime, thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate it. Try and stay
Thank
warm,
you.
have some fun, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Yep.
Bye.